Hi,
too.
everybody. Thank you
Sorry.
so much for being in this beautiful park today. So, when the Native Americans need something, where do they get it from? Do they go to the 99-cent store, Target, Amazon Prime?
No.
They do not. So, where do they get everything that they needed from? Outside.
Nature.
The land around them. Exactly. So, you guys went shopping, and these are some of the things you bought. You went and you bought a bowl. You needed that to go shopping. You got some chewers. Can you hand that down, please? Can you hand down a knife? Can you hand down aspirin? Can you hand that down? Thank you. Can you hold on to that? Can you hand it to the person next to you? And one more thing, Mark, if you can hold that. All right. So who's holding something that kind of, oh, do you hear that woodpecker? There are woodpeckers up in that tree. Who's holding something that kind of looks like a similar shape to this? Yes. What is it?
A bowl.
It sure is. Ladies and gentlemen, can I present to you a Native American bowl? Any guesses as to what it could be?
Shell?
It's a shell. Exactly. What kind of shell?
A balloon.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Now, I'm going to let you look at this, but it's got holes in it. So if you've got water and it goes drip, 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 that's a problem. How can we solve that problem? What do you think we could do?
Clay, dirt.
We
Something,
could
mud.
use something to plug those holes, and you're on the right track. So have you ever been to the beach when you get that black sticky stuff that sticks to the bottom of your feet? It's pitch or tar or asphalt. Well, that's what they would take, and they would plug the holes with it, and then they would take beautiful little shells and decorate them, and that way nothing went drip, drip, drip. All right, so who's holding something that you maybe had for breakfast this morning?
I am.
What is that?
Cheerios, food.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's cereal. So, what did Native Americans eat for breakfast? What am I holding?
Acorn.
It sure is. Now, there's a joke that the Native American name for acorns is we wish. And that stands for we wish we didn't have to eat this. Why? Because they've got a lot of tannic acid in them. That makes them very bitter. And at another station, you're going to learn about what they did to make it not be as bitter. So, okay, we've got our beautiful shell with our acorns in it. Who's holding something that you might use to eat your breakfast? What is? Yep, spoon, thank you. And what did the Native Americans use as a spoon?
Shell.
It's a shell. Any guesses as to what kind of shell this is?
Clam.
Kind of, yeah, it sounds like muscles in your arm, but it's spelled a bit differently. So do you see how that would work? Yeah. And you guys are all going to get to touch these and look at these things in a few minutes. So what are you holding over there in that bottle? What is that?
Aspirin.
It is. So that's kind of like if you've got a headache,
Medicine.
right? It's a medicine. So ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Native American aspirin. So this is willow leaves. And these willow leaves are very high in salicylic acid. And that salicylic acid is what aspirin's made out of. And so that helps if you're feeling sick or if you've got a headache. So what the Native Americans would do is they could put it in water and it would get absorbed through your skin, or you would maybe suck on a leaf. Now if you're ever camping and you think, I remember Liane saying, if I felt sick, I should just get a willow leaf. Don't. You know why? When the Native Americans would figure out how much to use, if they gave somebody too much and the person went, they'd go, let's give less next time. So I don't know how much willow they use, so it's never a good idea to try this when you're out camping. Okay, so that's the willow. What have you got in front of you? What is that?
Soap?
It sure is. Well, you're not going to believe what soap root looks like. Well, Native American soap. This, and I've got it in the bag, is soap root. And the Native American name for it is imoli. But you're not going to believe this. If I wet it and squish it, I would get soap suds. If I boil it, it turns into glue. If I take and there are fish swimming, and I drop the soap root into the water, bam, it knocks the fish unconscious. So let's think, is it easier to scoop up a basket full of fish that are swimming, or laying unconscious? I'd go with unconscious because they're not moving, right? So the other thing that you can do with soap root is make it into a brush. And you're going to see over at the acorn grinding station how soap root brushes got used. So what have you got in your hand?
Knife.
That sure is. Can you send it back down, please? Thank you. Thank you. So what did the Native Americans use as a knife? Any guesses as to what that might be?
Looks like obsidian.
It is exactly obsidian. So do I have any Minecrafters here today? Where does obsidian come from? So if you've got a volcano and it erupts, what's that hot red stuff that comes out the top of it? Lava, exactly. And when that cools, it becomes obsidian. And obsidian is sharp. It can get used as a knife, or as one of you mentioned, it can get shaped into an arrowhead and attached to a stalk with cordage and used as an arrowhead, as to go hunting, or as a spear. That's obsidian. You want to be really gentle with the obsidian when you touch it, because if you drop it, it's fragile and it can crack and break into pieces. All right, Mark, what do you have in front of you?
Well, a few coins, money.
So when you go shopping, you had to use money. You're not going to believe what the Native Americans used as money. They used shell beads. So what they did is they had long strings. They would take an olivella shell and they would punch out squares, drill a hole in the middle using maybe a bone or a hard piece of wood, and then they put them on the long piece of string and roll it until they got them round. And then they'd have these long sleeves and they'd have tattoo marks. So for example, if you wanted to buy, a rabbit skin, it would be 2 or 3 strings and they would measure it from tattoo mark to tattoo mark. So question, where do you find shells?
The beach. Ocean.
At the ocean. So the further away you get from the ocean, can you find shells?
No.
Not so many. So the further away you get from the beach, the more valuable those shells become. All right, any questions so far? Okay. So what are you holding, the purple little piece in front of you? The other one across your arm. What is
Some
that?
string or
Exactly, so that's string. So what did the Native Americans do? They would take dried fibers and they would braid or twist. Sometimes they would twist them against their legs. They used every part of the plant and the animal. They could sometimes take the tendons that were on either side of the bones of the animals and braid or twist those and use them as cordage to tie things. The other thing is, if I start weaving this together, do you notice how that might be kind of the beginning of a basket? So the Chumash were really well known for making beautiful baskets. They didn't have any clay here. They didn't have access to clay, so they were really, really good at weaving to use that to hold items. Okay, so who's got something we haven't talked about yet? What is that? Big piece of fabric or material. So, what did the Native Americans use? What have I got over here? Any guesses?
animal fur.
Animal skin. Any guess as to what kind of animal it might have come from? Rabbit, exactly. So, awesome. I'm a Chumash woman. It's cold outside. I'm very, very grateful that I've got this warm rabbit skin, and I'm going to put it on that shoulder, and I'm very happy because that shoulder is nice and warm. What happens if I go walking? Oh,
No, falls off.
it fell off. How can I solve that problem?
The cord.
Can I make it bigger, maybe? What if I got another rabbit skin and put that together and sewed it together? Yeah. So I just go to the store and pick up a needle and thread, yeah? Why not?
Because there's no store.
There weren't any stores. So you can't believe this. What they would do is they would take, this is a yucca leaf. And do you see how there's a hard, pokey point at the top? So they could use that as their needle. going through. Or they would use a hard piece of bone or a hard piece of wood to pierce holes, and then they could use this as their thread from the yucca as well. So be careful when you touch this, because it is pretty pokey, but I am going to put it over here for you to touch. So there are a couple more things I'd like to talk about. One is, what have you got over there?
Dreidel?
It's a dreidel, yeah, or a spinning top.
Spinner?
Yeah, may I hold that? So what do you do with it?
There you go.
There it goes. Well, what did the Native Americans use as their spinning top? Anyone remember what that is?
The acorn.
An acorn. Where do acorns come from?
Oak trees.
Exactly. So can we see how that works?
Oh.
So what I'd like you to do is all have a turn moving it, and while you're taking a turn doing that, there's one more thing I'd like to show you. Did somebody have some sandpaper out here, or did I not hand that out yet? Okay, so sandpaper is what we use when we need to file something. Any guesses as to what this is?
Snake skin or something?
It does look like a snakeskin, but na 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 na.
Shark.
Shark skin. This is shark skin, and that was what the Native Americans would use to file things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these things out so that you guys can look at them and touch them. And while I'm doing that, there's one last thing I want to tell you about. I heard from a Native American medicine woman that if somebody was really feeling sick, or if they were feeling really nervous, like tomorrow you were maybe going to go on your first hunt and you were nervous about it, what she would do is she would come and very gently run this across your forehead, and it would make you feel very calm and very grounded and not feel sick. So with your permission, I'd like to come around and run this across each of your foreheads, and you're welcome to look at all of the things in there while I come around. So can you just hold your hands up? Thank you. It tickles a little bit, but it feels very soft, doesn't it?